Morning, everybody. Southside here, coming to you with another episode of South's Rundown, which basically confirms that, yeah, unfortunately today there will be no live stream for, what I think it's like the fourth match of the second stage at this point. Yeah. It's actually match four, I believe. So, yeah, I unfortunately couldn't. I was preparing to do the match today, but unfortunately I have to do something related to my own personal documents, so I have to go overseas in probably a few hours. So yeah, unfortunately I have to cancel that. I will be definitely back next week. So this is just, I guess, preemptive announcement. I was really looking forward to covering the match today because it's the return of KKM. So but like next week, I believe if we follow the schedule next week, KKM will be there again next week too, and it'll be the final deciding match to see if Trads will make it to the playoffs. So this is gonna, but yeah, today is gonna be very important for Team Tidal Station Trads, and it's gonna be a very important day for Team Leisureland. The matches have all been recorded, so they actually know their fate already. But yeah, not the audience. So I guess now we can transition to it and we will discuss the match and see why it's so important for both of them. Okay, so now we're back here, right? So today's BPL match is going to be between the White League match is going to be between Team Leisureland and Team Game Panic, and the Black League match is going to be between Gigo and Trads. Very important for all these teams today, because Leisureland are trying to fight off elimination. If they lose today's match, they're automatically just out of the tournament. They're already confirmed to. It already seems like they're not gonna be the ones to make it though, because they'll have to basically win today's match and the last match against Team Selcat to even have a chance of getting out of this hole. And they'll Game Panic also needs to basically lose their last match against Team Round 1 for the chance of Leisureland to return to contention. It's not impossible for this to happen, but this is going to be a very difficult battle. Everything's going to have to pretty much go exactly how they planned. So today's going to be a very important juncture, because if Game Panic wins today, that's it for Leisureland. So we're going to go through this match first. So the first match is going to be between Leisureland's 8-bit versus Game Panic's Fripp. 8 to 10 notes. Impossible category to predict, but 8 to 10 makes it kind of a level playing field, because this is where Fripp is super good. It wouldn't be surprising to see a 1-1. There is a chance it could sweep 2-0, but the problem with fighting low level specialists in matches like this is just that even if you're like the best player, you could definitely have a good chance of losing. Like we saw what we saw in the Tohoku versus Trads match, the first one. KKM almost lost to Takwan until Takwan made a critical blunder at the end, and KKM managed to win. And just last match, we saw Yutaka, undefeated in the BPL, finally take his first loss to Silcat's Kido, a fourth drafter in a song. So in a playing field like this, actually, the low-level specialists are much more fearsome. So Ipin will need to be really playing his A game here, just to to potentially get something away from Fripp. So definitely something to watch. But this is gonna be the next match, and it's gonna be pretty important in my opinion. Dinosaur versus Mikamo. Dinosaur so far having a pretty unfortunate BPL season. I believe to this point he still hasn't gotten a single point. So this is gonna be his third try at it, but he's gonna face another first rounder in the form of Mikamo. So all his matches are his first match was against Seiryu, didn't win. First and second match against Yutaka, didn't win. So third match is gonna be against Mikamo, and the playing against Mikamo in the 8-11 range is really scary. Regardless, I think Mikamo's only weakness is like ridiculously dense level 12, so that's where he probably lose. And basically, even though Dinosaur has had a considerable level up in his timing skills and just everything in general, Mikamo's not gonna make it easy for him at all. I do foresee this being a very important match, because the final, because also the outcome of the final match is also. I also feel like the chances of the final match going 1-1 book to each team is very, very possible too. So 11 peak. So I could presume that will pick something really, really weird, weird and Yankee, but I think Mikamo could pretty much take anything thrown his way from Dinosaur. Mikamo could potentially capitalize on his better scratching ability by picking something quite scratchy within the pool, but we will see. We will see if the strategy will come to pass, and we will see if there is a potential that this just might be a tie game or something like that. And in the final match, 12 notes, G versus Takayasu or Takasu. Takayasu hasn't had a good BPL either. Unfortunately, still no points on his side. G, he isn't as good as he was in season 2 so far, but this is gonna be his last chance to prove something, as he has no more cost to go on. So 12 notes. The thing about 12 notes is that song pool is huge, as expected for a notes pool, and the songs could be ranged from very, very easy to very, very hard, and G is super good at timing, pretty easy stuff. Taka S has the advantage of being much, much more accomplished in density, but he is no slouch in timing easier kind of stuff. But when you're facing G on easier kind of stuff, you need to be really, really wary. So I actually kind of see it more likely that this is going to be a tie match where Takahashi wins his pick and G wins his pick, kind of thing. So, which is why I would say that Dinosaur versus Mikamo would arguably be a more important match. I could see some, but at the same time, it's also like I could see this match becoming a tie too, and a tie is not what Leisureland needs right now. If Leisureland ties or loses, that's pretty much it for your season. So, and I do think the squad that Game Panic put here could potentially fight off any chance of a Leisureland win. I'm not really sure if Leisureland could win. There is a chance, but I do kind of see a tie in this match. Dinosaur and Taka S have to really, really contribute their share of the day, and a win today would be very, very good for Game Panic, as they could try to contend for second seed and hopefully avoid getting Tidal Station Trends as their opponent in the quarterfinals, if so. So yes, the prognosis is pretty grim for Leisureland, but I wouldn't say that this is kind of a gone case. They really, really need to win this match to even consider their contention within the BPL. If Game Panic loses, it's kind of rough too. So yeah. So I guess we can transition to the next match. Gonna be the Black League match. Another team in precarious straits and another team that's trying to take it all away with their strategy. Gigo versus Trad. So Gigo has had a pretty bad BPL season so far. Couldn't get a single win so far. Trads has managed to kind of turn around their luck. They've had a pretty miserable first stage, and with the power of their first draft KKM, they have been able to recover. They've been able to recover some footing, and they're trying to do so for the next two matches they're going to be fighting. So we're going to see the match. So even though Trads are currently third place, with the very risk of Gigo being able to come back, this is going to be, I do still think that the match is in their favor. Well, with KKM in your final spot, every match is going to be very, very dangerous. So, okay, we're going to go through the match now. 8 to 10 trend, Loot versus Hachishaku. Loot having a pretty decent season so far in the low levels, but he had a pretty unfortunate match where he had to face off the density god from Tohoku, Shiro. I do think this is where he shines a lot though, so this is he's gonna definitely make it hard for Hachishaku, but Hachishaku is the third draft for a reason. Very, very good at this kind of good at songs like this. Unfortunately, he's kind of not the best on-demand player. But if Hachishaku manages to win 2-0 from this, I do think it's gonna be pretty dangerous for Gigo, and I do think he has the ability to take 2 points away straight from Lute. We'll just have to see if Lute can outplay him within the song, and it's possible that it could go 1-1, but I'm kind of leaning towards being Hachishaku's advantage and being able to take 2 points for Treads, which is not good, obviously. Second match is going to be a rematch, level 11 Note, CyberX versus Rio. So they fought in the first Gigo and Trans match. Rio unfortunately couldn't really capitalize on his strategy card, I believe, and him not winning his song was, I think, the biggest reason why Trads got their tie against Gigo. They could have won that match, but unfortunately that wasn't the thing that happened. 11, this match being level 11, I do think puts it a bit more on Rio's side. CyberX is very, very good at timing and, you know, playing stuff on S random, but you know, I don't really remember him too much on the 11 side, despite him being pretty good. On the 11th, he usually met his match more. I believe last season, I remember he lost to Exit, he lost to Yutaka, he lost one song to Exit, and he lost both his songs to Yutaka, which, you know, if you lose against Yutaka, that's not a big deal, but like Rio, who's a pretty like known ranker and like plays a lot more like difficult kind of stuff, I do think Rio can pick something that's more up his alley in this and likely be able to counter CyberX. So, you know, but if Rio can put pressure on CyberX and like take 4 points away from him from this match, I do think it's kind of curtains because of the final match. But you know, don't count CyberX out just yet. So I'm personally also kind of leaning to Rio in this side, despite him not performing as well at the BPL, because CyberX also has had like a pretty mediocre BPL record, so mediocre BPL season 3 record so far. 1 win, 1 loss. He'll always like lose one song and then win one song kind of thing. So this is gonna be another like more important match, because I do think that the 12 match is gonna be a bit difficult for KKM. It's 12 Soflan, Koriver versus from Gigo versus KKM. So Koriver is a Soflan master basically. He's like pretty accomplished within like Soflan charts. The most famous thing he did in BPL season 1 as a member of Supernova Tohoku was actually win one match against Dolce, which is pretty crazy. Winning against Dolce in Soflan is legitimately pretty insane, even though Soflan has a chance to mess up, because Dolce is just so consistent and so ready to play all kinds of different Soflan. And you know, Koribe has only gotten better ever since BPL season 1. He's basically considered a ranker now, you know, kind of ranker now. So in scratching and also Soflan. So I think he's gonna have some song picks that's gonna really, really stump KKM. It's gonna really, really make KKM have a very, very difficult time. We've seen him do his magic with like Y & Co is dead or alive. He's obviously very, very good Paranoid Hades, but the one thing that KKM has done ever since he has entered Japan to play the BPL is play 2DX. Pretty much every single day he would be breaking like at least 3 or 4 12 world records. He is the breaker for nothing. So he is called the breaker for, you know, for like what do I mean for nothing, but like, yeah, his nickname is the breaker. He breaks the leaderboard. So even though it's 12 Soflan Koribe, I do think it's still kind of, there's still a chance that KKM could 6-0 this. But because it's a Soflan category, I could see a 3-3 happening too. I could see KKM's stellar BPL record just ending right here, but you know, that's why you have the other teammates to carry the weight, and I think putting Hajishaku and Rio here is not really like is probably the best thing that they could do right now, because this is gonna be something because I feel like this is gonna be a match that's pretty important to win currently, more so than the Tohoku match, because Tohoku can't use their ace tatsu anymore, I believe, and I do think they don't really have the gas to they don't really, yeah, I just don't think that they have the gas to fight KKM in the final match. So this is gonna be very, very important, and I do think it does lead to Trads. I could still see Trads, and if unfortunately if Trads manages to get 2 matches, that's gonna be it for Gigo, pretty much. So Gigo and Leisureland today are fighting to stave off eliminations, and you know, Trads and Trads and Game Panic are just fighting so that they can win, so that they can get a better like seeding right at the moment. So I guess that's it for my own take on this. I do think Trad is gonna win their match, and I could kind of see the match between Leisureland and Game Panic to kind of either go to a tie or maybe like lean to a Game Panic win. So this is gonna be pretty, but this is regardless, it's gonna be pretty important for the lowest teams. They need to win now. The host of the day will be as usual, Boricho and Exit, and the live act and resident DJ of the day will be Hobarju. So if you have the BPL subscriptions, you have something to look for. You have that to look forward to. Maybe yeah, I think today they'll play Still Cat's theme song, Hazard Price Season 3. Funny name. But yeah, I guess that'll be it for the coverage. So this is good. So, you know, I really was looking forward to covering the match today, but you know, sometimes things just happen out of nowhere. I can only just, you know, like do something like this, and hopefully if you are a fan of the BPL and you're subscribed to the channel, you would you know, watch this, hear what I feel about things, and yeah, maybe that'll make you excited about the match. I should be back next week if there's like no issues with anything to get to the last 2 matches. I believe, yeah, it's gonna be Game Panic in round 1 versus round 1, and I believe it was Trads versus Tohoku. Pretty important match for Game Panic and Trads there. So this is gonna be pretty exciting to watch as we wait till it reaches the postseason. So yeah, I guess I can probably say goodbye to you right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the match today, and I guess I'll be seeing you next week. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.